Hello guys, this is a review of the movie The Layover, starring Alexandra Daddario and Kate Upton. Alexandra here plays Kate, and Kate plays Meg. This movie, and logically, that's, her name in real life, so I'm gonna try and do my best not to get them confused, but I sometimes do. Alexandra plays, like I said, best friends with Kate since the 5th grade. They are currently roommates, but they are not flourishing at their jobs. For example, Meg owns, or she just bought the rights to this cosmetic line that was manufactured in North Korea, and she's trying to sell them to a company in the United States. So you could understand how that's problematic. And Kate's character, she's a high school teacher, and the principal catches her reading something very inappropriate. They go to his office, and he suggests, to her understanding, that she should become a hairdresser instead. Like, she should quit being a teacher and become a hairdresser because her hair always looks good. And that's implied. That's not, he doesn't tell her literally, but that's what you understand from it. So they go back home, and they meet up and talk about it, and at 4 a.m. in the morning, Meg wakes her up because she decided to take a trip using Alexandra's flying credit. I don't really know how that works, but yeah. You know how when you fly often you get, she uses those and doesn't even ask her. She's just like, hey, let's just go to Fort Lauderdale in Florida and have fun. Drink, that kind of stuff. And that gives you a little bit of insight as to who's a pushover and who's the bossy one in control, her. Before that, they were watching a reality show on TV, and Kate mentions how she would probably do good in the show. And Meg responds with, no, you would have to wear your big girl pants for that, or they'd eat you alive. And you could clearly see Kate takes offense to it, and even goes back to her room. Right there, the tension is, I love how they set it up, because it gives you an idea of what the whole entire movie is going to be about. Now fast forward to the actual trip. They get on the plane, and there they meet Ryan. And I'm sorry, I didn't check for the actor's name, but he did an amazing job. I mean no disrespect. And it's the first time ever that they see him, mind you, the first time ever. And instantly they start this battle of who's gonna get him. I guess Kate is trying to prove that she could wear her big girl pants, and Meg is just used to getting the guy, so she's not gonna give him up. And that's what the movie's about. It's called The Layover because they have to stop at St. Louis, I believe, because of a hurricane. And there, the guy's like, hey, we're gonna be stuck here, so might as well make the best of it, right? And they go on a hot air balloon ride, which is very epic, since Kate is mortified of heights. She has to take anxiety pills. There's a scene while they're flying the last thing that Kate says, I think Meg's trying to reference When Harry Met Celery. When Harry met Harry met and then he's like, is your friend okay? And she's like, yeah, she just took some anxiety pills. But it's so funny, so much funnier than I make it out to seem. And the guy, I also do not mean any disrespect to any type of person out there, but this is a comedy movie. I don't know if you could see, I have a huge South Park collection. It's part of my humor. I try not to be disrespectful here, so I'm just laying the ground for what's to come. The how do you call them, driver? It's not a driver. the guy who flies the hot air balloon, he's blind, and well, not blind, partially. He only has one eye and wears a patch on his other eye. So Meg decides to celebrate with champagne the fact that she's having a terrible time because this guy is paying all the attention to Kate because she's having an anxiety panic attack. And they're singing Pink song, the one that goes, pretty, pretty, please, don't you ever feel. I think it's that one. It's really funny. I could be wrong. Anyway, she opens a bottle and the cork gets into the guy's eye, and Alexandra's character is like, did you get him in his good eye? And he's like, I only have one good eye. It's the only one I got. And everybody just panics, and they make it down safe, but they land in a birthday cake of a Mexican family. It's this little kid's birthday, and the hot air balloon just smashes a whole table, the presents, the cake, like I said, and the kid is just looking like, and mind you, like, Meg's character is just cursing up a storm. Then she just turns over to the little kid and is like, ¿Qué pasa? Which translates to like, what's up, what's happening, what's good. That moment was hilarious, honestly. So good. It gets me every single time. Then they go back to the hotel. I don't know which one happens first. No, I think this one happens before the one that I just told you, but it doesn't matter when you watch it. It's still the same. They go to a club, right? Well, they decide to go to the club. The guy invites them. And she doesn't have a dress to wear because she lost her bags. So she goes to the receptionist, who is very big on the Yelping reviews, and asks him where she could get a dress. But there's nowhere near for her to go, so she kind of blackmails or threatens him. It's like, oh, how do you leave a review again? So the receptionist decides to ask his mom to lend her a dress, and we don't see that, but she says that that's how she got it. It's really funny, this beautiful Indian dress, pink, glittery. And that's how she shows up. So she steals the show right away. And they meet with another couple that was also on the plane with them. And she's like, wow, you look beautiful, so exciting. And it's like, thank you. It's a sorry. And the wife of the couple that I just mentioned, she's like, oh, honey, you've got nothing to be sorry about. It's too funny. Like, I definitely do not do it justice. But it's up there. Then they start dancing and having a good time. Everything seems to be flowing. But Meg twirls a little too much. And the dress goes down this way. So the boob pops out. And this guy, they meet this is a very important character. I don't know if he's here. They don't show him. But it's a jeweler who's very much interested in Meg. He gives her a hat to cover up. And she actually, well, I should probably get to the pool scene. That happens. And she's like, how long was it out for? It's like 20 seconds. Like, no big deal. Then they go to the pool. And the guy that I just mentioned, the jeweler, is hitting on Meg. She's like, okay, this is not going to happen. And not because you're not hot enough, trust me. I've dated much lower than you, but she doesn't pay attention to him. She wants the guy. And at first, Alexandra's wearing something that looks, this is a nice dress, but she's wearing something like that to go to the pool. But after she sees what she's gonna wear, she decides to cut up her own thin bikini, and she comes up with this. I don't know if you could tell here, but it has all the signs of being cut with like regular scissors. It looks so funny. And she also wears the lip thing that makes sales. Awesome. Awesome scene. They compete with each other and they're trying to do diving moves that are seen at the Olympic Games, and the guy's being the judge of that, but Meg does one that's a little too difficult to do there, so she hurts her eye. Like, I'm not doing it justice. I shouldn't get too much into detail because it kind of ruins everything for a comedy movie, and I am not doing it justice, I know. But I'm just like trying to bring up some of the funniest scenes, for me at least. All that goes on, right? And then the next day, the jeweler guy and this guy decide to just make it a road trip because he's going to miss a wedding. That's why he's going to Florida in the first place. So they decide to go, and then the girls obviously they tag along as well. It's so funny. Like I said, I'm not gonna get too much into the details, so I don't spoil it. But I like spoilers for the whole movie, obviously, you know that, but I really would prefer if you'd watch this first. Near the end of the movie, when the guy actually leaves the next day, they're talking, the friends, and they're like, oh, why are we even fighting over him? What does he have? Just his looks, but he's like empty in there. And they find out that he has been intimate with both of them. And they obviously didn't know. And they get into this epic fight where Meg punches Kate's character in the throat. And the jeweler guy's like, that's a kill shot. He's like, you took a fucking kill shot at me? It's so funny. Alexandra's performance and Kate as well. Everybody there is just so on point. They find out that this guy that they've been fighting over this whole time is getting married. It was his own wedding that he was trying to attend. And obviously they didn't know that, so they rush over to warn the bride, but when they get there, they find out that the bride is very controlling, very demanding and condescending towards him, so they just come to the conclusion that it's going to be worse for him to live with her than to actually warn her and make them get a divorce, because they were already married by the time they got there. Then they speak to each other before going back, and first Meg apologizes to the jeweler guy and kisses him, and then when they're about to fly back to their place, they decide that it's best for them to live separate because they depend too much on each other. They cry about it, and Kate goes back to school with a stronger attitude, more confidence, and this is really funny. I know I'm saying and all the time, and I'm sorry. Like I said, they move out. Meg moves out, and you think, wow, where's she gonna go? They're obviously still gonna hang out, so Kate calls her over. She's like, hey, you wanna come watch the show? She says yeah, and you see her come out, and then there's an elevator. I think it's room 202, then an elevator, and she just passes the elevator and goes straight to room 203, where she used to live with her. So they're basically just one elevator away from each other. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was on purpose. I found it really funny. But I do believe that maybe it wasn't even on purpose. I don't know. It's a little bit too obvious, but I could see it being accidental, that they're so close to each other. And that's how the movie ends. And that's it for the plot. It's a very easy movie to digest, so to speak. Very easy to process. You don't have to overthink anything, I would say. And I mean no offense to the Dumb and Dumber fans. I am a fan myself of everything Jim Carrey does, but it reminds me of Dumb and Dumber a lot, especially when it gets to the whole road trip aspect of it. And like the road trip movie. What other movie can I say? American Pie. It's like a mixture of all of them. It isn't an amazing, great cinematography miracle, but it's good. It's solid. And in its genre, it does what it's meant to do, and it causes what it's meant to cause. I had a great time. Like I said, Misters Before Sisters. It's really good. It's just like more of a female view of this whole thing. At the end, they realize that, like the guy said, the minute I got there, you guys just jumped over me, or jumped onto me, I should say. It wasn't about them wanting him. They didn't like him that much. It was more of the competitiveness, like who is going to prevail in this battle. And yeah, it's a nice sisterhood movie, I would say. I am a big fan of Alexandra. I know that I pronounce her name Daddario. I always do that, but she pronounces Daddario. It's a little bit different. Kate does an amazing job. Ryan's character, the guy who plays Ryan, does an amazing job. Everybody there is really good. The jeweler guy. And it's also directed or produced by this very famous guy, but I'm sorry, I forgot his name as well. I did see them in an interview with Alexandra though, when they were talking about the Conor McGregor fight. But that's besides the point. The movie's good. The movie's really fun. I would give it an 8, maybe 8.5. No, I would say 8 out of 10 in its category for sure, and I would recommend it. Thank you for watching.